Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Friday, February 21st. Happy Friday, everyone. It is 6:21 right now. We got market opening up in about 9 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Got a few things here to update. And we should be good to go. Looks good. Looks like we are all good to go. So, all right, as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. To the 2 hour. To 1 hour. 15 minute. $10 minute. And back to the 1 minute here. Looks like we are good to go. So good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, February 21st. Happy Friday, everyone. It is 6:24 right now. We have market opening up in about 6 minutes. I've marked up liquidity over here. Closest level of liquidity above is at 44.76. Closest level of liquidity below is at 44.2. I mean, a lot of these levels are probably going to get hit pre-market, but I've marked them up anyway. So we'll see what happens here shortly as volatility starts to pick up. We have some news events today, so I will mark that up. There's a lot of news events at, I believe, 6:30, 6:45, and 7 o'clock. So just stuff to look out for. They're high impact news events. Hey Sam, morning. All right, guys, ready to kick off this Friday trading day to wrap up the trading week. Let's see. All right, we got all the clear right there marked up. Let me take this off. The reversal's back on. Let's go to the SR chart real quick. A little messy, but got this big spike here pre-market at 4 o'clock. Not sure what happened. I didn't check the news yet, but something happened. All right, we're getting a huge spike right now. Market's a little unusual today. We're getting a lot of these weird, like these, I wouldn't say random. I know there's something that's pushing price around, but I mean, basically, there's sort of random price movements here that are kind of pushing it heavily. Looks like liquidity just got knocked out right now. Let me go back to the main chart. Yeah, so it came up and pretty much knocked out this liquidity right here. And the next level, I don't know what caused that push right there. Let me check the news real quick. CNBC. Uh, let's see. So Coinbase won the lawsuit. I don't know what the lawsuit is about. There's always lawsuits against crypto companies and stuff. So I don't know what's going on there. Got biz talk here. It says Dow Jones futures slide ahead of inflation data at Block Rivian plunge on earnings. Okay, so I mean, obviously something here happened. Yahoo Finance just announced or published something saying that the Dow has slid based off the inflation data. Let me go here real quick. Let me see where the inflation data came out because I didn't see it on the calendar. I mean, I guess it was data from earlier this week. We have more news at 6:45. Michigan consumer sentiment, unless my time is off here. No, that's right. Yeah, the Michigan consumer sentiment hasn't came out yet. It comes out at 6:45, or sorry, 7 o'clock. So we got news at 6:45 and at 7 o'clock high impact. But the price is kind of spiking around right now. So we got news at 6:45. And 7 o'clock, just something to look out for. So let's go back to our SR chart. I marked up SRs over here on the 1 minute. Looks like a mark up on 1 hour up here. We have nothing below because price hasn't really been this low in a long time. It's a 4 hour support. All right, we got everything marked up here. So this is the SR chart. Guys, looking over here at our market profile. So we're currently at a bounce area. This is an area of low volatility. So we're currently at a bounce area right here. We'll see if price breaks through. I don't really have any targets below because, like I said, price hasn't been this low in I can't remember how long. So we just don't have any structures down there. So we'll kind of have to play by ear and see where this ends up going. Here's a volume chart. Not really much here to work with at the moment because, obviously price isn't. It's in an area that it's not familiar with. So we got market opening up shortly, guys, in about 20 seconds. Breakout for today is going to be a sell. If you guys are looking to take it, so I'll mark it up for you guys here. I'm not going to take it, of course. I'm still not taking the breakouts, guys. I'm like waiting for this to find consistency. For this month so far, it's kind of been back and forth. I mean, I think it's profitable, but it's not like super crazy. If this candle's too big, you're supposed to flip it. So if it goes bigger than 50 points, it's supposed to flip it the other way. Looks like it's fine here. It's just right below the threshold. So let's go back to our main chart. So this liquidity here got knocked out. This liquidity here got knocked out. This one also got knocked out. Opening price is right here. So I have to go back and remeasure this candle here because if the candle is bigger than 50, typically you're supposed to flip it the other way for the breakout. It's kind of tight. It was like, no, I would probably not flip it. But again, it's tricky. That's why I don't like to break out a lot of days because stuff like this happens pre-market where the volatility starts to go a little crazy and it just throws off the whole analysis. We have some consolidation up here, some pre-market consolidation, which I'm going to mark up. Right here. It's a pre-market consolidation right there. Sellers are obviously in control. They've been pushing price from right here. And we'll kind of see price just sitting right here at the opening area. A little tricky right now where it's currently at. Yeah, we don't really have much movement right now. We have volatility. Price is spiking. It's going back and forth, but there's not really much of a clear direction right now. 625 right now, or sorry, 631, 25 ATR. So the ATR is pretty decent. It's like where it should be, but there's not very much direction here. So let's take a look over here real quick. I didn't mark this up yet. So I'll mark up the market structure bias, I guess. To kind of see where price will likely be sitting for today. Here. Fine. So it looks like price may be bearish for today, just from what I see here so far. So we kind of want price to stay away from this boxed area. So the market structure bias is indicating that we should probably be below this area, and that's the closest area where price is currently at right now. So possibly below this box. Looking over here at the overall trend. So the 4 hour is still bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish, 5 minutes bearish, and the 1 minute's bearish. So everything here is pointing towards the bearish market like it did yesterday. You can see prices below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down, prices continuing to drop back down. So the breakout for today is a sell. You can see right here, it's currently running in profit. And we'll keep following that. We'll use these, all of these will be confluences for us, right? To look for sells today. Sells for the breakout, sells for the trend, sells for market structure. And we'll keep looking for, opportunities here for entry. We have a possible, so let's see. I mean, this is a red flag area, so it'd be tough to take any entries around this point. We do have a V1 here. So we have an engulfing V1, engulfing V1, one V1 right here. There's an MPS V2 that was running on the entry candle. I mean, it already hit, of course, but or did it? Yeah. So the V1 over here, or the MPS did hit. This V1 right here was actually, oh, it's kind of tough. I guess the MPS V2 would have been an A+ setup, but it was literally on the opening candle, so I wouldn't have taken it. It happened between the 629 and 630 candle. So I mean, obviously, we're going this direction for a sell, but none of the entries would have came up in areas that I would have taken them because, for one, that was market open, and for two, there's just a bunch of red flags at this point. We got news coming up though right here. What's up, Brock? How's it going? Morning. Yeah, I guess we'll keep looking to see where everything starts to go here. We do have some volume down here, which is useful. So we got some volume down here. Price is bouncing off it. It's the only area I really see volume right now. There's volume up here too, but it's not really relevant at the moment. You can see here, price is having trouble getting away from the opening price right here, right? This blue line right here is opening price, and you can see price is just, it's kind of stuck right there. It's coming below. Now, it hasn't closed below yet, but it keeps coming below and then swinging back up. I don't like how there's like so many huge wicks right here, right? Big wicks on the bottom, big wicks on the top. This just shows a lot of indecisiveness in the market. So, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to wait for the market here to kind of show that it's going to move in a direction. And then once we have that, I'll start looking for some possible opportunities here. It wouldn't really matter because there's no sell opportunities here at the moment, even though I would like to take one. I mean, the only sell opportunity would have been to be one right here, but it would have been right at opening price. So it's a little bit of a tricky entry right there to be taking. And it's right on open as well. All right. So we'll see if we're back in for a ranging, or so yesterday was a trending day. We'll see if we're back in for another trending day today, or if we're going to be in a ranging day. One thing that we can look at here is going to be the volume bars, right? So like looking over here at volume, if we have some sort of bell curve shape, like we talked about yesterday, then we can possibly look for a range. If we have something like this, and then it starts to flatten out, we can look for a possible range. We can look for price to bounce off of support and come back up. However, big order just came in 50 contracts for a sell. However, if it starts to move how it's currently moving, like it just continues to push this way. So say, for example, price goes down here, the bell shape is like down here, and it just continues to go down lower, then this is going to be a trending day. Like you can just tell it's going to be a trending day. So that's just two ways of identifying, whether we're going to be in range for today or a trending day. From what I see here, it looks like we might be in a trending day for a sell. The breakout's currently running in profit. Let me mark up to 50 points so that those of you, 50 points already hit. So the breakout's actually been hitting every day this week. The breakout has hit at least 50 points, if not the full 100. So breakout right there hit 50 points. If you guys were looking to take that, we'll keep following it for the 100. But there's no other entries here available for us right now. Otherwise, the bias here is still bearish. Market structure bias is bearish. Breakout is still running for bearish. Trend here is also bearish. What I would be looking for here personally is I would look for some sort of retracement and then possible continuation down. I mean, obviously I want to look for some sells here. I don't want to fade my own breakout. So liquidity here just got grabbed. You can see the rejections right there off the liquidity. And we'll see here if this continues dropping. Brock said, Sean, I noted that the MPS V2 that was almost playing out yesterday, just before close, played out 3 minutes after we stopped the live. I took it and it was sweet combined with liquidity. Hope someone else got it. Yeah, I know. I looked at it too. I was following it as well. And yeah, that thing played out perfect. It went straight to TP. So definitely something to look at. As we continue to trade along. I didn't look how the market moved after we got off the live session, but we were on the live session for pretty long yesterday. I think we were on until like maybe 8:30, and I did see a couple entries come up and they played out pretty nicely. So, I mean, it just goes to show that the strategy works very well in a trending market. We haven't been in a trending market in a long time. We've been in a ranging market. And that's kind of what's been the problem with, our strategies, because our strategies are directional strategies and they're supposed to be applied during a trending market. The past year, the past 6 months to 7 months, we've been in a ranging market almost every day for YM. So that's why it's been tough. Other strategies work well during these types of markets. Like I said, we could possibly have these strategies where we bounce off places like volume, right? So again, we have volume down here. Price is bouncing off it. If price does bounce off volume, it typically pushes back to the point of control, which is back up here, the black line. So like, there's not enough space here. If there was enough space, we could look for a possible bounce and then look for an MPS V2 back up to, this point here. But there's like only so much space right here if we measure it. It's like a 40-point gap. Well, not a gap, but a 40-point move from here to the point of control. So it's not really enough space here. Ideally, we probably want price to push down even lower. So we probably want price to push down, lower and then come back up. Or if it doesn't come back up, push down lower and just keep climbing lower like it did yesterday, right? It doesn't really matter where price is going. We're using this volume as a confluence, not exactly for entry points. So we're just looking for the volume here to identify bounces. And this can give us a better understanding as to like, okay, price bounces from here, it's probably going to push back up to here where the volume's high, right? And then, for example, if price pushes up here, we'll see it push that down to this volume area. So, just to reiterate what we talked about yesterday and what I'm using this for, guys, this isn't a strategy. This is just a confluence. It's a confluence to identify bounces and to identify where price is likely to push to, right? If price was to push up here where the volume's low, price was to ever push up here, I would expect price to bounce off here and come back down to this area. This area is target zone, right? I'll color the screen. This is where I'm expecting price to go to. Whether it pushes up, I'm expecting it to come back to this area. If price bounces off here, I'm expecting it to come back to this area. So it's just something to keep in mind, guys. Again, don't get too caught up in this analysis here. This analysis here isn't even like, it's not that important. It's just identifying balances, but then our actual entries are still based off, our price action. So just keep that in mind. I feel like, some people try to use this as their standalone type strategy, but it doesn't always work that way because these balance areas don't always hold. Like, for example, this balance area was up here earlier and now it's down here. And the volume picked up right here. So it's not a balance area anymore, it's more of a target area. Here is my market profile. Like I said, I didn't really have market profile from the bottom end because we haven't been down here yet. This is kind of a new area. Price hasn't been down here in, if not weeks, if not months, if not, it's been a long time since price has pulled back. We've been in a bullish market for some time now, hitting all-time highs. So there's not really much market profile down here that's recent. And you can't really find market profile too much when market is moving directional. But if price does swing back up, so if we get a correction here, see we have market profile up here. If I get price to bounce off this area, we have a target right here and a target right here. And then if price pushes up higher, bounce off here, come back there, or price push up further, bounce off here, come back there. There's a lot of targets here on the upside. It's just on the downside, we don't have much structure down here because we don't have data at this point. We don't have data right now, unless like on those like super higher time frames. Because let's see, let's go to the daily time frame. So the last time price has been down here, like actually came down, was in December. So yeah, it's been months since prices actually came back down in this area. We hit the all-time high right here, and then the all-time high right here, and then now it's back into. I mean, this might be a bigger range. You can see the big range happening from here. This is the daily chart. Like maybe we'll be stuck in this range here for like the next month or so. Or price might just bounce off here and hit more all-time highs. We don't really know what's going to happen here. So not really predicting what's going to happen next and kind of just going with the flow. Looking at the SR chart here, the next support zone down here, this is a 4-hour support. So it's pretty far down. I mean, if it wants to drop, it can drop. It's got targets down there. It's just not, yeah, it's just not really moving too much. We're kind of just stuck right here now in limbo. All right, so we have, let me see how far this pushed up from. 50 points. We'll say the buyers push price up right here. Not very strong, but they did push price up right here. And then we'll say the sellers are pushing price back down from right here, possibly. So now our leg gets reset. We got news coming up in about 1 minute, guys. It's high impact news, so just be careful with any entries that you guys are looking to take. But we started the next leg here. So we had consolidation, push down, retracement right here, and then push back down right here. There's an MPS V2 possibly setting up, but we do have news on this specific candle. News event right there is S&P Global Manufacturing PMI and Services PMI. I'm going to refresh this. I don't know why the news is not refreshing here, but we do have news right now. So I don't know what the news was, but let me just go over here to Forex Factory instead. I don't know why the news is not uploading. Okay, so we had Flash Manufacturing PMI, Flash Services PMI. They were mixed. One was positive, one was negative. High impact news event right there. Then we have existing home sales and University of Michigan consumer sentiment coming up at 7 o'clock. We also have President Trump speaking today. I'm not sure when he's speaking, but he's speaking today. All right. It looks like we are in consolidation here. Let me mark up some consolidation zones. So it's a little tricky area right now to be trading. Like I said, I don't know if we're going to be stuck in a trending market today or if we're going to be stuck in a ranging market. Looks like price is trying to trend, but it's not really having much of a push in direction. We had consolidation, push to the downside, consolidation, and we'll kind of see what happens here. Nothing happened on the market profile. We'll come back and take a look at that a little later. Price is still respecting this low volume point. So I don't like when there's only one low volume candle right here, right? See how there's only one low volume candle? I like when it's like this over here, right? Because you have a bigger zone here for price to bounce off of. Like I like when we have this huge area right here. You don't have that here right now. So like I wouldn't really put too much on this being a bounce area because this can easily break below and then just create a new bounce area below it. So I wouldn't necessarily put too much thought on that specific area. Here, let's see. It looks like price is really just ranging between the 950 mark. Well, we had kind of have like a bigger range here. So the 950 and the 100. This is the bigger range, and then we have smaller levels in between it right here. Okay, so let me turn off the volume real quick. So see that right there? This is kind of where we have price ranging from. Now this one's not even relevant. Looks like there was a fake out right here, but the relevancy is like between the 50 and the 950. It's in a 100-point range. We got price breaking below the volume right here. Or it was trying to. Yeah, we got price breaking below the volume. Like I said again, the volume here, don't pay too much attention to it because it's just going to create more volume below as it drops lower. I'll just take that off right now. It's, like I said, it's kind of pointless having that there if price drops any lower from where it's currently at. Looks like we're having a reaction to the news now. For some reason, I don't know, my FX book is not uploading the data, but it's okay. We still have forex factory here. So not a big deal. But the news was mixed. Price is dropping past this area, which is good. This is an MPS V2 right here. I didn't take it because it just kind of came up all of a sudden. Big contract right there, 87 contracts for a sell. I don't know if anybody got into this MPS V2, but this candle just came down like very last second. I wasn't expecting a big red candle to come down here. This is actually an A plus setup. So there's a V1 and then there's a V1 here, and this was an A plus setup right here because this was a scenario of three, I believe. V1, MPS, or V1, V1, and the MPS came up right here after. Super fast entry. Nice, Brock got it. CJ got it. CJ said, I walked to the bathroom and missed the MPS V2. Yeah, it happened a little too quickly. I wasn't paying attention to it, but it looks like a lot of you guys here caught it, so nice work on there, guys. So solid work on catching that MPS V2. There's like no drawdown on that either. Solid work, guys. I was looking to take it, but I just didn't, I wasn't paying attention to that right there. I'll try to stay on another huge order, 100 contracts for a sell. So obviously there's some power behind these drops right here. I mean, someone's pushing price lower. David said CNBC reported about United Healthcare decline, and that's why it's bearish. Gotcha. Okay, so that's a catalyst right there. Some news came up. A couple of news events came up. Right here, we had the high impact news at 6:45, and then we had the United Health news as well. All right, so this is looking a little better now with the volume. So we have a lot of volume right here now. So we have a whole big volume area below. So this is what I was talking about earlier, guys. Like I was saying, I like to see a lot of volume kind of built up in an area. Because now you can see, like now that we have this down here, see the shape curve that I was telling you guys about? We might be in a range now. So price might start to range soon. And this is what I was telling you guys about yesterday and this morning. When you see like this happen right here, a bell-shaped curve, then market starts to go in range. If it doesn't look like this and you end up having something like, and you see a mountain and then you see a mountain, that's a trending market because you see volume pick up, then it slows down for retracement, and then it picks back up, and it slows down for retracement, and then it picks back up. But if this here starts to flatten out, you start to get something like this. This is going to show you that market is going to go back into a range. So just be prepared for that. I mean, we might have had this big drop right here, but price might range back up into the POC up here, which is point of control. So just keep that in mind. Don't pay too much attention to it. But if we get some buy entries here, I'm not going to shy away from taking buys because I can see here that the volume is starting to show that price might be swinging back up, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with price swinging back up. Price has been dropping for a while now, so it might be due for retracement. Once you reach this 50-point mark right here, I'll put a green bar here to show that the buyers are pushing price back up for retracement or reversal. But until then, there still hasn't been confirmation of retracement yet. So we'll kind of just leave this here and I'll see if price does push up. Once we do that, we can look for either a retracement or reversal, or we can look for the continuation to the downside. But yeah, it looks like, we'll see what happens here. Again, if this volume holds, then we'll have price start to range here. If not, then we'll see price continue to drop lower and we'll have more of a drop here. I don't have market profile from this lower area. Let me check. So I do have market profile over here a little bit. Let me see. 900. 910. Okay, so 900, 910. I do have market profile right here though. They just don't have targets. I'm drawing up market profile for balances here. And let me update market profile here. Two, 930, 942. So I got some market profile right here. These are areas where price may likely bounce from. So like if price comes up, I'd look for it to bounce off and then possibly provide a sell signal or an engulfing or some sort of confluence that price will push off this area. These are going to be areas to look out for bounces from the upside. I'm not going to mark market profile from the downside because it's just not, we're still kind of bearish right now. So I'll come back and take a look at that. We'll use this here, the volume, as the profile for the lower end, and then I'll use market profile over here from the rejections from the upper end. All right, so we got buyers pushing price up right here. We don't have any confluences yet though. So buyers in control from 650. It looks like it's a retracement. If it doesn't hold, then that's fine. We'll put the sellers back in control right here. Ideally, I would like to see a buy signal though. So I'd like to see a buy signal push price up so that we can see some retracement. And then we'll go from there. CJ said there's a lot of high level liquidity below too. Let me see. Oh, we do. So we have a lot of higher time frame liquidities down here. So price could keep dropping. There's no need for it to push up. Thanks, CJ, for the heads up on that one. Let's see. So we got Barack's profits over here. Barack locked in 4,522 for the day. Nice work, Barack. 3 wins for the day so far. It's making me log in. Give me a second, guys. I knew I was gonna do this because I'm not supposed to be logged into two trader baits at the same time. Okay, there we go. It's probably gonna log me out again. I'm just not gonna touch my trader bait. I was just looking at my trader bait so I can see where the market profile is, but I'm not supposed to be logged into two different places. So log me out real quick. All right, looks like the sellers might be pushing price back down. Let's measure from up here. Not quite, but almost. I'm just gonna put the red bar here anyways, because I do think price will come down lower. So we have an engulfing candle right here. Let me see if it's bouncing off any structure. So this might be a good sell here if you guys are looking for something like I'd say risky. This would be risky here because we have the bounce off this point, and then this is probably going to be the start of price to come down lower. So we had price bounce off market profile, and now it's coming down lower. The only problem is that we don't have any real targets down here aside from the liquidity. And the engulfing candle did not close yet. So you have to wait for that engulfing candle to close for it to really confirm that this is the bounce and confirmation. No engulfing yet. It's not going to be the setup, at least not quite. Yeah, so no setup right there, at least not yet. We don't have the sellers back in control yet. My threshold is like a 50-point move. So once price pushes down 50 points, we can confirm that the sellers are either retracing or pushing price to the downside. Otherwise, if that's not the case, then the buyers are still pushing price up from here. So you just kind of have to analyze things from like, all perspectives here. Otherwise, if that doesn't become the case, we might just have a range here, similar to what happened over here, right? See how price consolidated in range here for a bit? Price might consolidate in range here for a bit before it climbs up and corrects back to the upside. So just gotta be patient. Breakout hit over here for 100 points, guys. So the breakout did really well this week. If you guys took the breakouts, 100 points right there. Put that over there in the chat so that you guys can see it. Yeah, so there was a breakout there, guys. Pretty nice entry. I mean, there's so many confluences for a sell, so it did play out pretty nice. Breakout was right there for a sell. Trend here is still bearish. Market profile or market structure is still bearish. This here hasn't confirmed yet that the sellers are back in control, but looking at this over here, looks like price is trying to retest that area of volume. So if it does, it's probably going to drop lower from where it's currently at. We do have another news event right here at 7 o'clock. It's high impact. So we have existing home sales, UOM. We had a big spike right there to the downside. There goes the news. We still don't have that buy signal though. So, I mean, we would need that retracement before we can start looking for anything here that's really relevant. So consumer sentiment was bearish, existing home sales. I'm assuming is going to be bearish as well. Again, for some reason, I don't know what's up with my FX book. No updates here. There we go. I just had to change the page. I think the page was broken. Okay, so consumer sentiment was negative. Existing home sales also negative. A lot of negative news right here for today. You can see some manipulation happening right there, which is fine. Again, the volume over here got dropped a little lower. Let's see, we got price around this area down here. Let's go back to that bell curve. All right, so you guys can see here the bell curve is starting to really pan out. So what I would say here is I would probably expect a correction. Down. I would say expect a correction maybe later in the session, not right now, but if this here starts to balance out like this, then probably like around 9 or 10, you're going to start to see a correction back to the upside. Because the sellers here, they're starting to lose power. I mean, they're still pushing price down, but they're not able to hold it. So you might see price push up from right here, like at any point, really. Because you can see the sellers are on control. Price is now consolidating. I'm gonna have to put some new range right here. So price is consolidating there. Consolidation. So like I think the main thing we're looking at right now is we're trying to figure out, is price going to continue trending, or is it going to start to balance out and range, right? I think that's the biggest thing, because you can see the gist of the movement's really happening down here. This is kind of like where everything has happened and moved for the most part, just down this middle area right here. Everything right here is just small volume. So unless the sellers can keep dropping price lower, then we might have a bounce. At some point, it's going to bottom out. If the sellers don't keep pushing price lower, it's going to bottom out at some point, and then it's going to push back up. And then from here, it might just come back down, or it can continue climbing back up and then come back down from here. You got to keep in mind, today's Friday, so we're at the end of the week. There's, it's either going to stay flat or it's going to move. And looking at this here, it's pretty flat at the moment. 7:04 right now. There's no more news events. The only big thing that's happening today is that Trump's going to speak. I just don't know when he's going to speak. So we have Trump speaking today. It says tentative. There's no exact time for when he's going to speak, but I mean, this guy can come on. He can probably come on like right now if he wanted to. The next thing that's going to come up is the Fed speaker. So we got Fed speaker, Fed Jefferson speaking at 8:30 and Fed Daily speaking at 8:30 as well. But until then, market might stay a little flat because there's no other catalyst for the day, unless someone comes in and pushes price around. Yeah, Sam said he needs price 40 to 60 points down to buy. So I'm assuming you're getting closer to that 800 mark down here, huh? I guess we'll see what happens here. I mean, it depends on what happens here with the volume. This is really going to be like the deciding factor. Like if this here doesn't flatten out, like this area doesn't flatten out, it stays big like this. So if you look at this here, there's two different things that can play out right now. There's either, oops, you see this mountain right here, and then it goes flat, and then another mountain right here, and then it goes flat. If you see this right here, this is a trending market still, because we have price flat, trends down, retracement, trends back down, retracement, and then possibly continue dropping. So there's basically two different scenarios here that can play out if you look at the volume. It's either you're gonna get that bell-shaped curve, or you're gonna get mountains. It's basically two different ways of seeing it. It's either you see this. Where's my thing at? Okay, I'm trying to delete this right here. I'm just gonna erase here. Whatever, I don't care. I don't need it there. So you're either gonna see this. This is a ranging market, or you're gonna see this. And you see something like this is going to show you that, and the reason why this is ranging is because see how price comes down. This is where market's kind of flat. the volume picks up and it goes flat. And then this shows you that price is basically moving like this in a sense. It's kind of like it's right here ranging, comes up, and it comes back down. And it comes back down, and it comes back up. That's like this type of market when you see this type of bell curve. When you see this right here, the type of market that you're actually seeing is you're seeing something like this. Price comes so price is going sideways, then it comes down, then it goes sideways a little bit, then it comes down, sideways a little bit, then it comes down, and it's moving directional, right? So you guys see the difference between these two bell curves? This is ranging and this is trending. They're not always going to be super clean like that, but for the most part, you can kind of see here, like price is starting to drop more. So you guys can see how there's a mountain and then it comes down and there's another mountain right here. So we might still be in a trending market. Price might, if this doesn't flatten out, then price will probably just keep dropping until the end of the session. And then we'll just close out the week bearish, of course, which is kind of what I'm expecting here anyways. So again, if you guys are just joining in on the live session, we had one entry right here for an MPSV2 hit full TP. I didn't take it because I wasn't paying attention at the time. Unfortunately, I was looking at the analysis on the other charts, but majority of people here did cash that one. On top of that, we also had the breakout here hit full TP. If you went for the 1-to-1, hit 50-50, and then after that, it hit the full TP for 100 for 1-to-2. So pretty good day so far for a Friday trading session. Breakout full TP, one MPSV2, or this was an A+ setup actually, A+ setup, but MPSV2 nonetheless. And then now we're looking for something else over here if we can possibly get into something. Sellers have been in control right here. I was hoping we get a buy signal to confirm retracement, but we have never gotten that buy signal. So at this point now, we don't really have anything here to work with specifically. If I get a confluence, or if I get an MPSV2 or anything that comes up and I see it bouncing off some sort of structure here, then I will possibly look to take entry. However, if I don't get that, then I'm not going to force anything here, of course. Right? There's no need to force anything here. So just, obviously something to keep in mind when you guys are looking for entries here. Just always stick to your trading plan, guys. Whether the market's moving in your direction or whether it's not, whatever you plan for the day, execute it. My plan for the day was to take MPSV2s and, A+ setups. That's my main plan, but like if I do see something good, like if I see an MPS that's not an A+ setup and it's coming off, it's bouncing off volume or it's bouncing off structure, or it's bouncing off some kind of area that I have marked up, then, I'm still going to be okay with taking that specific entry. The volume here is starting to pick up though, so this might not be the bounce area anymore. We got price pushing up. Okay, perfect. So this is the buy signal that we were waiting for. We're getting that retracement. I think this is going to be more than 50 points. Yeah. So we do have the buyers back in control. Not really in control, but they are pushing price up from right here. Whether it be retracement or whether it be reversal, we have price pushing back up from this candle right here, 706. Sellers are pushing price down here. Buyers pushing price back up right here. And let's see. We might get an MPS to the upside. Kind of depends on what we'll get from here. So this is like the power of using volume. We have more volume right here. It's kind of where price is now. So there's like two things here that may happen. Price is currently bouncing off this area of volume. So like this could happen where price, obviously pushes from here and then pushes back up to the point of control, or we might have price where it may push up and then come back down and retest this area of volume. So what you want to look at is where the volume is highest, and I'll put a line right here. See these lines right here that are kind of like they're far out? These are acting as targets. So like if price put bounces off this area of low volume, it's going to push up to either this area right here, right? And then come back down or push up higher. But if it pushes up higher, it's going to push it to this area right here. So we have a bunch of volume sitting right here. So it kind of just depends on like, this is why trading is like so intuitive, because there's no one way to analyze it. You can either look at this for price to, come back down or push back higher. But these areas here where we have high volume, the reason why we have this right here as high volume is because a lot of people want to trade in this area, right? This is a point of interest. Like this is where people want to be at. So if we catch the balance off any of these points, it's going to push back to here, or it's going to push back to here. So it doesn't matter where your entry happens. Like if you have an MPS V2 entry that happens like somewhere right here, say for example, we have an MPS entry that happens right here for a buy. We can probably go for that 20 points, or we can go for a bigger point here. Right? Like we can go for the 20 points, that's perfect. But if you want to go farther, you have ability to reach this upper area here. So like I said, guys, I'm using volume and I'm using market profile, not exactly for a strategy, but I'm using it to identify targets and identify bounce areas. Those are like the only things I'm using it for. I'm not really using it for anything crazy. It's just really for more of a discretionary analysis. Because the thing is, our entries are still the same. I'm still looking for those MPS V2s and I'm looking for A+ setups. The only thing here is that I'm trying to see where market is going. So I'm going with the flow of the market. I'm looking at the bounces here, but then I'm taking my entries off, whatever MPS V2 or any A+ setup that does come up around it. Okay, perfect. So we have a possible MPS V2 that's starting to set up right here. Or not MPS V2, but we have a sell signal that's going to be the start of an MPS V2. Let me measure it from here to see if it's pushed down 50 points. I think it has. Not quite, but if it does drop any lower, it probably will be. There's my 50-point threshold right there. Now let me see over here if it's bounced off any of, okay, perfect. So see this right here? It bounced off my market profile. And kind of see where it's at. So bounce off the market profile. If I see a sell signal here, like this is probably like one of the MPS V2s that I would take by itself. I wouldn't really need to wait for I don't really need to wait for A+ setup here. So I'll be looking for a possible MPS V2. The thing is, I'm only going to go for the 20 points because there's no lower targets here that are close enough. We have liquidity sitting down here, but it's way too far. So I'm not gonna shoot for like 200 points. A possible V1. Nice rejection off the support right here as well, or not the support, the lower range. So let's see. There's an engulfing candle right there too. So if this closes, if this closes below this line, it's going to be engulfing, and it's going to be one that I'm looking to take. But it has to close below it, and it has to be engulfing. Otherwise, if it doesn't come down that low, then I'm not going to take it, of course, because it's not going to be a setup. So we got 20 seconds left on this candle. I don't know if this is going to close below. It's going to, like, it'd have to be for sure. And it's not looking like it. There's a huge amount of buy orders right now in the market too, so. No, it does not look like it's going to come down in the next 5 seconds. So nothing there yet, just fine. Volume, there's a lot of volume right here. The SR chart looks all sad. There's like nothing around this area. Let's move the SR chart over here since it's not as relevant. All right, so we got a buy signal here. This is going to reset the process. So it does not look like we're going to get an NPS V2 here anytime soon. Looks like price is stuck within this range. So I drew this range over here back at 649. So it's been about like 20 minutes in this range. No entries there. Looks like price is just faking out and pull back into the range up here. So nothing yet. I mean, there could still be possible opportunity here. If the sell signal does, if this buy signal doesn't close and price comes back down, there's still opportunity here, but I mean it's not looking like it right now. I don't have the buyers in control yet. If we have a 50-point push, which looks like is going to be the case here, I'll put a green bar here to put the buyers in control. Let's go back to the volume. So, I mean, looking at the volume right here, it looks like we might still be bearish, guys. It looks like this is just a big buy order just came in 50 contracts on the time and sales. I mean, they're trying to push price up. Yeah, the buyers are back right here. So we are up in this area now. No buy signal, but we do have price pushing back up. I'm looking at the volume here though. The volume does not look good. Might see a bounce off this area and it might come back down.
Connection lost.
Connection lost, and not what I wanted to see or hear today. All right, it's had one connection loss. I'll keep looking at my accounts here. Hopefully I don't have any more problems with connection. All right, so we got price bouncing off this area of volume right here. Oh, this is an even better sign. We have a V1 variation off market profile. Okay, so I think this is going to be a good entry. If it not this specific entry, but if it bounces off this point and then we have an NPS come up after, then I think it's going to be a good setup. Because we have a pretty good amount of confluences here. It's bouncing off volume. Some confluence right there, bouncing off volume, and then we have and then we also have bouncing off market profile right here, and we have a V1 up there. So if we get an NPS V2 here, it could possibly set up for or you could take this, if you want to take the V1, you can. If you want to be on the riskier side and you're like, okay, I know this is going to come down, you could have entered from right here. Because like I said, there's a lot of confluences off that rejection. It's rejecting off volume, it's rejecting off market profile. I think these two are very key. Like I like to look at these separate because we have volume and we have market profile here right next to each other. Those are two good confluences. The next thing that I could possibly see here is, if we have that NPS V2 come up, which might be coming up here shortly, it's probably gonna keep pushing lower. The only problem here is that once we get down too low, because right now we're getting a little low, right? If we get down too low, we're going to be in trouble with this lower volume here. But I mean, we'll just have to play by ear and see where this ends up going. Seems like price might just, I mean, it's been consolidating. If you look over here, it's a consolidation zone, right? So I mean, we might not even get enough push here. Would have been good though if it kept dropping lower, but this range right here it's been holding. Glenn is asking, is news price a red flag for NPS? Yes, it is. So it is a red flag for NPS. The thing here is the buyers are still in control, guys. We might have an NPS to the upside. So we have the buyers in control here. We have an NPS that's running. We have an engulfing V1 right here. If this here pushes up any higher, this could be a So if it closes above this black line right here, this could be an NPS V2 to the upside. This is where it becomes a little tricky because the volume is bouncing off the lower end right here too. And we can push towards the point of control. So it's a tricky setup. I don't know if I would take it by itself. I would probably have to see some sort of confluence. Like I would have to have the entry candle be an engulfing or a V1. Because it's tricky. There's like it's the analysis here is conflicting. The market profile is saying bearish and the okay, never mind. So now that we have this here, the volume has updated. And it looks like the volume is actually really high down below here. So looking at this here, the sellers actually look better. Yeah, it looks better on the sell side now that I'm looking. I wouldn't take the buys. I'd actually look for the sells here. So I think the sellers might be back in control at this point. Not quite, but if it does drop lower, they will be. All right, we have a V1. If a sell signal comes up, the next setup would be an A+ setup. Because we already have two confluences here. Looking at this here now that the volume is kind of updated, I do think price will probably I mean, it's hard to tell here because we're currently at the point of control now. We're currently at the point of control. And I see this volume here is lower. See the volume bars here are smaller than this one. So I see this lower area here as being a target. So bounce off this area, come down lower, have opportunity for entry here, and then create new lows from here. The only problem is that there's not much movement. We have confluences here, but price is really just going sideways within this consolidation area. See, Brock, so your point of control seems to have shifted. Yeah, it changes, Brock, because this is where there's more volume now. There was more volume here prior, but now all the volume is jammed in this area because it's been sitting in this consolidation area for a while. So the point of control always adapts to like wherever there's more volume. So like before there was all the volume right here pre-market up until market open and then price came down. And this is where all the volume has been since this morning. Because it's been in this area here since 6:40. So it's been in this area for about, almost an hour now. And all the high volume has been moving down here. So this is now the point of control. That's how the volume tool works. It identifies where all the volume's at, and then that's where the bars come up. That's why the bars are higher on this side. So I guess we'll kind of see that. I mean, there's nothing going on here. Price is consolidating. I was hoping we'd get a sell signal and price would come below, and then it would maybe push down lower, but we're just getting back and forth right here. Yeah, Glenn said he's been using Gonbox in his charts to identify possible imbalances in price. So far, it's been respecting the levels in my Gonbox. Yeah, no, Gon's good. There's a lot of different ways to identify rejection points. I know people who use Gonbox who trade mean reversion, which is perfectly fine. I think that type of that tool and that type of strategy, it works well in a ranging market, not necessarily in a directional training market. Like today, market's been ranging, so it's probably working perfect for you today. But yeah, market like yesterday, it'd be kind of hard to use. There's a couple people in our group who introduced the gun box a long time ago. I mean, it was good when the market was ranging and they were like killing it, and then when they were using it during a directional market, it was kind of tough for them to keep trading it. So they stopped using it. But yeah, Gon is a good tool. There's a lot of good tools out there, guys. As long as you guys know how to use the tools properly or you use them for a specific reason, they're very useful. Super, super useful. It's really just finding your stuff, right? I get these questions a lot. People always ask like, they always ask me like what was harder for me, psychology or strategy? And I always tell people it's both because you have to figure out what fits you, right? What fits your trade psychology? Are you a scalper? Are you a day trader? Are you a swing trader? Can you hold on to a position for a certain amount? Do you like to take high risk? Do you like to trade negative risk reward, right? Do you like to trade positive? Um, you got to figure out what fits you, and then you have to like develop your strategy around your thought process. For me, I like to hold things for short periods, right? I only like to trade and I only want to focus between 6:30 and 8. So like my time window for trading is like an hour and a half. Um, I like to hold on to trades for a few seconds, if not a few minutes. I like to trade with momentum. I like to trade price action. I like to trade, directional moves. So like you put all those pieces together and you can kind of put together what type of strategy you want to apply. Like if you don't like trading the way that I trade, like it doesn't matter if I give you the blueprint, you'll never get it. Same with me, like learning swing trading, right? I don't like holding on to positions for like I don't like holding positions for more than a couple minutes. Like if I hold on to a position for like a couple hours, I'm gonna get stressed out because I'm gonna keep looking at the position. So that's why I don't swing trade, and that's why I trade the way that I trade because I know what works for me. So just keep that in mind, guys, when you guys are like thinking of, ideas or if you're trying to learn someone's strategy, because just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just doesn't work for you. Um, and I feel like that's like a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow. A lot of people think just because, like, for example, for me, I show my profits every day, right? And I show you guys my stats for the month so far. Like, just because I'm making this much profit using these specific strategies on live sessions doesn't mean that everybody can do this because it's not as easy as it looks. Let's see, we got a possible MPS V2 setting up right here. We have the sellers that have been in control since this candle over here, 718. I would like to see some sort of retracement here and then possible pushback down. So like tracement and then come back down later. So that's kind of what we are looking for here. Go over here real quick. We're still around the point of control down the middle. There's a lot of volume in this middle area. So price might pull back into that POC area. Otherwise, everything else here looks pretty solid. A lot of push points from the market profile. So we'll see what happens here. Let's see, Brock said, just hoping we take out that previous low before retrace for the MPS V2. Yeah, I know what you mean, Brock. We'll see. All right, so this will possibly be in MPS V2 / A plus setup if it comes back down. So I like the retracement here. I just don't want a buy signal to come up. If a buy signal comes up, then it's kind of going to screw up our trade here. The volume's kind of died down a little bit. So I need price to break and close below this black line. If it breaks and closes below that black line, this will be an MPS V2, A plus setup. And let's see what goes from here. Let me check the volume. So there's high volume right here. This is where people want to trade. So if it finally pushes away from the POC, point of control, then it could be a good sign. All right, Lamar, we'll see you back here. See you back here on Monday. Gyal's asking Barack if you can send the custom zigzag study for CRSC. If you know how to get in contact with Gyal, Barack. You can probably hit up Barack on on Discord. It's pretty active on there. Getting kind of cold. I guess sweater up quick. There goes that buy signal. Rejecting off the news price from earlier. So we got a lot of nice rejections right here. Rejections off the pivots. We got rejections off uh market profile here. So what might happen here is price might push up and then bounce off the market profile again and come back down. The only thing here is that price has really just been consolidating. If you look down here, it's a straight consolidation, right? We don't want that. We don't want a straight consolidation. We don't want consolidation at all. But that's kind of where we're at right now. We have an invalid buy signal right here. Price is pushed up a little bit. It's not 50 points, so buyers have not pushed price up high enough to be considered a retracement. All right, Barack. Yeah, Barack said he'll reach out to you after the live. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, Brock's here in the Zoom now, so you don't really see him in the chat on the YouTube. He'll get in touch with you. Thanks, Brock. Okay, so we have price currently right here at the I mean it's within the range. I don't know if we're gonna get the MPSV2 guys. Price has been within this range for been a long time now. Yeah, price has been within here for some time now. Looks like we're starting to get a push back down. Okay, so looking at this here, let me go back to market profile. It didn't actually come up and touch the market profile, but it is coming back down pretty sharply. So this might be, no, it's got 10 seconds left on it. It's gonna be too close. Let me see how far this pushed up from. All right, the buyers never got back in control there. This is a possible MPS V2 setting up right here, guys. It's got to close below that black line. So possible MPS V2. The volume here is starting to kind of die out a little bit though, as you guys can see. I mean, the volume here has been kind of slow for like the past, I don't want to say hour because that's gonna be the whole session, but basically for the past 30, 40 minutes or so. We got 20 seconds left on this candle. Market profile here is not really doing much. Volume here is also not really doing much. We got 10 seconds left on this candle here. If this closes below it, if it closes like last second, I'm not going to take it. And I'm not going to take it here. Of course, it did not close. So it's just bouncing off the support or the not, it doesn't necessarily have to be support, but lower range right here. It's ranging down here pretty hard. This is not the type of market I want to be in. Boring market today, guys. It is a boring market today. Yeah, CJ said it's most likely breakout after the live, just like yesterday. Yeah, I could see that too. Barack said, I feel like it's more of a buy area. I'll sit this one out, refusing to take out that easy low down there. Desired for a buy momentum much above, too much balance above. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if the sell will ever come. I mean, it's tough. It's like hard to see either direction. So let me see here. like price is just sitting at the point of control here. See how price is just right here in the middle? This is where all the volume is currently sitting. So I know I do see a breakout to eventually happen. If you guys look here, that we're in a trending market. So I think price is either going to trend up or it's going to trend back down. So like I was telling you guys before, see this bell curve never, it's like down here. It's like or if you could look at it like that, or you could look at it as a P shape. We're in a trending market, or I mean, we're not in a trending market, but the overall is trending. Right now, it's flat, it's ranging, but overall, when it breaks out, it's gonna break out. That's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. Like it's gonna break out at some point and it's gonna move. It's not gonna be in a range where it's like consistently going back and forth. It's like once it finally breaks out of this area, it's gonna break out of this area and it's gonna move. But we just need price to break out of this area. I don't know when it'll happen. Might happen an hour from now. You know, the people might be waiting for Trump to speak because we do have, I mean, Trump's still on the calendar. He's on the calendar, but there's no time for him to speak, just as tentative. So that is something to keep in mind. It seems like a lot of people are just scared to get in the market. They're just worried that, you know, as soon as they get in, Trump's gonna pop up out of nowhere and say something that's gonna spike price. Because you can see it's pretty clear here where price has been ranging. And it's been ranging here. Let's measure it now. So price has been ranging here for about 50 minutes now so far. 50 minutes of range. No catalyst, no nothing. And today's Friday. I feel like a lot of people are just wrapped it up. They're like, oh, I'm done for the week. All right, so price is coming back to this bounce area right here again from the market profile. We'll see. So there's a couple things here that I would look for, guys. Now that price is reaching this bounce area, you're either gonna look for it to bounce off this here, or you're gonna look for it to climb above, bounce off here, and then climb up higher to the profit zone, which is like basically back to open. So let's see. Not much going on here. Sounds that I like to buy. I'll do something that's range is mental. PC said just because price is ranging doesn't mean people aren't getting in. I mean, the volume here is so low. So the thing is, if people are getting in, they're just scalping, right? They're scalping within the range. Of course, people are getting in. If people weren't getting in, market would do this. You just have doji straight, right? There's no direction here. So there's no like real push in an area. Like people are just bouncing off and they're not really big orders because I'm looking at the time and sales. So if you look at the time and sales here, there's a big gap between like how many orders are coming in. Like usually per minute, you're seeing like hundreds, if not 200s, you know, multiple like 3-figure orders. But I'm looking at the time and sales right now, it's moving so slow. So people are getting in, but they're not getting in at a rate where like something's gonna happen. Because the only like you can really see if people are getting in by looking at the time and sales here. That's like the main way to see because I see all the live orders coming in on the exchange. So yeah, people are getting in. I agree with you, but you know, they're getting in at one contract. It's not enough to push anything. So see how these candles here are getting smaller? It's because there's like a few orders that are coming in. Like maybe every minute there's maybe about like here, let's see, maybe 100 orders coming in. But like typically, like for these bigger candles, you're seeing like thousands, if not 2,000, or like more contracts coming at a time. Right now, they're like one contract coming. Like, let me see. I wish there was a way to like show the totals per minute. But yeah, looking over here from 740 up until 741, there's maybe like 100 contracts, like singular contracts. And then now it's starting to pick back up. So now we're starting to get some more volume here. So, I mean, the range is too small. It's like, these contracts are pushing and the range right here is about 50 points. If we had a bigger range, so if we had a 100-point range, then okay, I would say, there's a lot of people entering and exiting their positions here. But there's no direction. So you can see the buyers will push price up a little bit, then the sellers push price down a little bit, then vice versa, vice versa, vice versa. Let me see if the buyers are actually in control here. Let me measure from this lower point. I mean, barely. See, like from this low point right here, even from the very low end of the range, it's barely pushed up to like 50 points. So at this point here, I mean, we could, I guess, maybe say the buyers have pushed price up a little bit, but not enough to really make a huge difference or a dent in the market. There's an MPS V2 right here. There's actually an A plus setup. I wouldn't take it though, because like I said, it's stuck within this range here. You're going to be trapped in this back and forth movement. So I wouldn't have taken this A plus, and this was an invalid buy signal.
Connection lost.
And I got a connection loss there. Let's see. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna take any trades today. I'm looking at my connection history, and for some reason, one of my hedge clients, they've disconnected and reconnected over 20 times in the last minute. That's crazy. It's just one account too. I'll see. I mean, there's no need for me to force any trades here, but I find it really unusual that his account disconnected like 20 times in the last, it wasn't even a minute. It was like within seconds. It was a connection loss, connected, connection loss, connected. 7:42. We're getting closer to 8 o'clock anyways. I mean, I'm pretty happy with my profits for this week, so I have nothing to complain about. But we'll see. I mean, we'll keep looking for possible opportunities here for entry, but there's just nothing. I mean, this is a high volume area because people are just getting in and out within this little area right here. If you look at the volume, it's only in this little block right here. So yeah, it's only in this little block right here. It's a 19-point block of volume. Now we're starting to get some push to the downside. Let me see if we have some rejections here. I mean, the same original rejection from right here off the volume bar. Same rejection right here off the market profile. Let's see. So, I mean, we're finally breaking past this area. Sam is trying to get in at like 43,800, which is down here. This is a high volume area, though. I don't see any bounces happening here. So let me see. I'll probably continue to look for a possible entry here for MPS. I'll have to like really, really watch my accounts though, in case there's some sort of connection issue. Let me I just want to double check again. I'll have to like really, really watch it to make sure there's no issues here with entry and exit. So we have a possible MPS V2 setting up right here. I don't know if this is gonna pull back into the range. Looking at this here, let me see how far this pushed up. Okay, never mind, guys. I'm not trading today. Yeah, I'm not gonna trade today. I'm gonna turn off my Ninja Trader. I just had the same guy that had like 28 disconnects. his account went into panic mode, so I'm not gonna risk it. He has a lot of money with me, and I'm not trying to lose him any money. Let me close up my ninja. Okay, I'll keep looking for entries here, but I'm pretty much done for the day and for the week, guys. I'm not gonna risk it. One of my clients' accounts went into panic mode, meaning that NinjaTrader could not log into his account. I'm gonna try to log into his account over here. Just want to make sure there's no like random positions that have came up for him. It's kind of weird now because like now that I get the disconnects, it doesn't say disconnected anymore. It kind of just disconnects, but doesn't give me a notification, which I think is super annoying. Okay, so account was cool. It's good. NinjaTrader just always trips me out when I get that panic mode. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it before, but it basically locks the account out of the platform. It says that unable to connect to the account, and then it says like in huge caps panic mode. That's what happened one time with like one of the other client accounts. I was in a position, and then what happened was his account went into panic mode, and I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't log in at all, and then I had to manually go in through NinjaTrader, web trader to close him out of the position. So it's a little different when you're trading accounts for when you're trading real money accounts versus prop firms. Because like we talked about yesterday, if you load a prop firm account, you don't owe that money. But if something happens and someone like blows their actual live money account, it becomes an issue, right? So I'm not going to take any trades today, guys. I'll keep looking for opportunities here, but I'm not going to take anything on my end. I mean, I had a pretty good month so far. So here are my profits for the month. I'm currently at 80,985 total for February. For this week, I locked in 51,565. I took no losses this week. We just had two trades that I took. I took two trades this week, one on Tuesday, one yesterday. I didn't take anything today, didn't take anything on Wednesday, and Monday was a holiday. So overall, it's been a great week. So I'm not necessarily looking to screw up my week here by taking something and then having to get caught. And I mean, this range has been in this price has been in this range for a long time, about an hour. So it's kind of just sitting in this area here now. CJ said NinjaTrader support probably turned off her voice to make you think they fixed the problem. I know, right? Logged into my account and did that. Because it's weird. I only heard connection loss like twice today, but I looked at my actual account dashboard and it showed that I had like this one person, his account disconnected like over 20 times within a minute. And then I had another client disconnect like a minute before that, but she only disconnected once. So I'm not gonna risk it. I mean, there's no entries here anyways. If there was something good, maybe I could probably get into it, but I mean, there's nothing to take here to begin with. Price has been in this consolidation range for an hour now, and it's not really breaking out of it. It fakes out every so often. So price fakes out right here, then it pulls back in, fakes out right there, pulls back in, fakes out right here, and then it pulls back in, but it's not really going anywhere. This is where like all the volume is sitting too. If you look over here on the volume chart, this is where all the volume is sitting. So like, like what PC said, people are trading. It's just there's not enough. Like there's not enough here. People are getting in and out very quickly. Like people are just like doing some micro scalps within this area. It seems like, getting in, getting out, getting in, getting out, and then they're just not really doing anything here. Like this would be a perfect area to micro scalp. I think in a situation like this, I would probably micro scalp off the POC, or I would catch the bounces and then micro scalp to the POC. That's kind of where price goes, right? It bounces off, then you could ride this up for like a little few points. I don't know, 5 or 10 points. Like you can really micro scalp your way to the POC here. Like you don't even need a strategy for that. I wouldn't recommend you guys do this unless you know what you're doing. But see how like there's these little bounces off these areas? You can kind of just microscope your way back to the POC. 10 points, and then bounce off like this over here, another 20 points, and you can just catch the bounces back to the POC because this is where the volume is sitting. So like this acts like as a target area. When our price bounces, pulls back. It's not necessarily this line either. It's just whole area. So see how we have outliers over here with volume? See how these right here are like outliers? That's where price tries to go back to. So it'll come down right here, bounce off the lower volume, pull back to this area. See how the volume here is super low? Push it up to this area, pulls back into that volume. It doesn't always happen that way though. So you want to be careful because price can easily push past this area, retest, and then push into this volume area. So just something to keep in mind. Like I said, when you're using volume, you don't want to use it as a specific like a strategy alone. You want to use it as a confluence, but not specifically a strategy. And you can look up a lot of videos explaining volume profile. Everyone will kind of explain it a little differently, but the main gist of it is like you kind of understand where low volume is, high volume is, and use the high volume as target areas, the low volume as bounce points. There's CJ says Sean is telling us to look at outliers, and all I see is the volume literally giving us the middle finger. I know it's right here, right? Right down the middle. It's like, nah, CJ, you're not getting anything out of this market today. I was hoping to take one trade today, but I mean, it's all good. There's no need to force anything, like I said. The MPS V2 actually still hasn't came up yet. So like if price does come back down below this area, the MPS V2 is still valid. We have the sellers in control here, engulfing V1, engulfing V1, engulfing V1, right? We got 3 confluences, MPS V2 still pending. So if it comes below, this could be setting up for the breakout because we have all of this confluence right here telling you that the sellers want to push price down. They want to, they just don't have someone behind it, right? There's nobody behind it pushing price down. So like say, for example, price gets around this area and like for whatever reason, a hedge fund or a market maker or somebody just wants to dump price at this point, there's signs of price wanting to go down. So the price action is showing that price wants to go down. It just doesn't have enough power behind it to actually push it through. So, just something to think about. Yeah, Brock says crew consolidation, it's kind of as usual for volume profile until it breaks the range in one direction, or at least they want us to think that. Yeah, and that's one thing too, like Brock mentioned, the thing with the volume profile is that it's a tool that's put in place that everybody knows about, right? This volume profile this is not a secret. It's not a secret tool. So it kind of depends on how you use it. If you're using it as a strategy, the market makers and institutions, and well, not really institutions don't care about your small orders, right? But other traders, they're going to do opposite of you. So like if everybody's looking at what we're looking at here, then odds are there's going to be a group of people or some sort of people who are going to do the opposite. It's kind of like with any strategy that you apply. So you want to take volume profile with like a grain of salt. You don't want to depend on it too much. Just use it as a confluence and then use your price action or whatever you use for entries. Because if you're just depending on the volume here, I mean, it's really easy to get burnt because just like any other strategy, there's gonna be drawdown and there's gonna be downside to it. That's why for me personally, I stick to my specific strategy for my entries, but I use volume just to identify, okay, is there a better confluence here where I see bounces from, right? Because if I can line up these confluences with my specific strategy, then my odds of hitting my trade are going to be very the probability is going to go up way more. Like I'm using market profile. There's like one confluence right there. I'm using volume profile, that's another confluence right there. I'm using trend, right? That's another confluence right there. I don't necessarily only trade trend. I have market structure right here, right? I don't only trade market structure. I use all of these as like little confluences, but my strategy doesn't change. It's still the same. I'm looking for entries with MPS, V2, or I'm looking for entries with A plus. So that's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. Like, don't focus on like just because I'm showing you volume profile, this isn't your holy grail. It's not like, oh, I'm not going to use Sean's strategy anymore. I'm just going to go straight into volume profile. Because if you do that, you're probably gonna get screwed. Because I'm using these as confluences. I'm not using them as entry points. I'm using them to identify bounces and possible further targets. But my 20-point target is fine, like I've been doing 20-point targets. A lot of people try to talk shit about my strategy and my stuff, but the numbers don't lie. It's like what people say, men lie, women lie, but the numbers don't lie. I'm sure you guys, these are my profits right there for February, and I have my profits for January as well. Like everything here is like I try to be as transparent as possible, but it's okay. Like some people are just not gonna get it, right? Like some people only want to trade like high RRs, which is completely fine. It's just there's a balance. Like here, I'll put this up right here. We'll just say like anatomy of trading, right? Like ideally, you want to have high win rate plus high RR. This is like holy grail basically, but you're not going to find that most of the time, right? You're going to fall under the norm is high win rate, moderate or low RR, or you're going to have low win rate plus high RR. That's usually how it is, guys. Like, ideally you want to have this. So like I try to like move my ways closer and closer to like high win rate, high RR. But like normally this is what you're gonna find. You're either gonna find a strategy that has a high win rate with like normal to moderate low RR, or you're gonna have a normal, the other norm is gonna be low win rate to high RR. People always argue this, but I'm like, they both work. You gotta find one that works for you. Um, like you guys will never imagine how many DMs I get from people like almost every day. They're like, your strategy's trash. And I'm like, okay. Or they're like, 1-to-1 RR, like 20-30 TP stop loss, that's trash. And I'm like, okay. And then I look at their page and they're trading like ICT stuff, and obviously they're trading high RR, but then they're never profitable, right? So it's always like it's crazy. So like for me, I just zone out all of it, guys. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I don't care what profits other people are making. All I care about is what I'm doing. Because if I'm profiting and you guys are following me, you guys should be profiting too, right? Because I do this every day. It's not like I only post profits like once a month or like so often. Um, and I'll post the January ones too, or I can even show you. I don't even have to like post them on. So here's February and here's January, right? Like if you guys are just following what I'm doing, like, you don't even have to like my strategy. If you follow what I'm doing and you're like consistent and you're only sticking to like, the good setups, you might not have this much profit, but you should have like the days that I'm green, you should be green. And since we're trading like basically a 1-to-1 almost, as long as your green days outweigh the red days, you should be profitable, right? I talked to someone about this the other day too. I think they mentioned like they're break even for the week or they're break even for the month. I'm like, how are you break even for the month? It's like not possible. So say for example here, we have a red day here for 32, right? And then these 2 days right here, if you have 2 winning days, it'll usually recoup this. This one was more, I lost more on this day because of my slippage or whatever. But typically like you need 2 green days to make a red day profitable. So like basically these three days right here ate up this red day. These 2 green days right here ate up this red day. We had 2 green days here, no red days. So we're like heavily in profit for February. And then you look over here in December or January, we had a red day right here, but this one kind of balanced out because we were doing breakouts at this time, right? So like the breakouts were 1-to-1. So this balanced out. Basically, this was a toss up. This was like a small loss here. I think it was a break-even day, but it ended up being slightly red. You know, red day right here. These two ate this one up and this one up because this was a smaller red day. We had a win streak right here, and then we had one loss right here, and these two ate this up. So, you know, if you look at the numbers here, guys, you know, like I said, there's it's all in the numbers. Like if you can see this, like even if you're trading a negative risk reward, if your green days are going to outweigh the red days, you should be able to balance out in profit at the end of because my main goal here is really to close out every day green, right? That's usually what I aim for. I try to aim for, I don't really look at the profits, but I look to close the day in the green. Because if I can close 2 days in the green, that gives me the opportunity to lose a red day, but then also still be in profit because I'm trading, you know, 20-30. So it's just something to keep in mind, guys. Like I can't convince you guys to see things the way that I'm seeing, but you know, that's kind of what got me further with trading. I think once I started to stop fighting my trading style, that's when things started to change and I started to be very profitable. You just got to figure out what trading style works for you, and you got to figure out what risk reward works for you. You know, what's your profit goal for the day? Have some sort of trading plan in place, and then once you have that, I mean, you're pretty much good to go. And then from there, you just continue to execute your plan every single day. I know, right, CJ? That's what I was saying. Barack said there's always haters, even in the trading world. I refer to them as Karens and stupid road ragers because causing squabbles. With ICT, yeah, I know. It's you know, the thing with the ICT is like it's crazy that well, I mean, they kind of fell off. If you guys have noticed, like a lot of the ICT traders, they're not as like loud as they used to be. I remember like last year and the year before that, like the ICT cult was like crazy. Like those guys were the most annoying people in the world. Because they would say that that's the only way to trade. Uh, they're pretty quiet now. You don't hear anybody like really pushing ICT at all. You know, they just kind of changed the name. What do they call it now? Smart money concepts or something. They changed the name and there's just another cult doing something else, but they're not as loud and as vocal as they were last year. I think a lot of them started to realize and they started to wake up that, you know, there's no one way to trade. There's tons of ways to trade out there. And yeah, I mean, that's just how the world is. That's how the trading world is for the most part. Let's see, here's Barack's profit. So Barack over here is up 7,289. Nice work, Barack. So total profits right here. Looks like he traded some NASDAQ. Made a pretty big move right there off NASDAQ. So solid profit right there, Barack. Solid work. It looks like you're done for the day. So I'll post up your profits over here. Team profits. Nice work, Barack. Yeah, definitely. Barack said that was an MPS V2 on NQ. Solid. Yeah, so like I was saying before, guys, you know, these strategies work well on like different assets. You don't have to trade them only with YM. Barack right here traded the same strategy, MPS V2 with NQ, and then he locked in 2,672. So he locked in some pretty good profit right there off NASDAQ, and then for total, he locked in 7,289 for the day. Yeah, CJ said that's why I sent that post in Discord last Friday. K2 is the winning team and have been consistently for years, and they can't take our spot. So they're trying to knock us out, but it's not gonna happen. Yeah, exactly, CJ, 100%. You know, I think like, well, for you, CJ, you've been here for a while, right? You've been with us for a while and you've been trading with me for a while. So like you understand the long-term benefits of like sticking to one strategy and just really mastering it. If you guys have been trading me for a while, I've been trading the same way pretty much for the past 8 years. You know, sometimes I'll sprinkle in some breakouts here and there. I mean, the breakout still works. Like you can see the breakout here hit full TP. It's just I can't stomach the drawdown. You know, like I said, this doesn't fit my trading style. I created this specifically for the hedge fund clients because I wanted like one strategy per day that could hit profits. but it didn't resonate with me because I don't like holding trades for this long. Like this trade went on for this wasn't even that long, but it went on for about 20 minutes. And I don't like holding trades for that long. So like for me personally, I'm gonna stick to the scalps because the scalps is what I'm good at, and that's kind of what like my trading style is. So if you want to take the breakouts, I'm still gonna cover the breakouts every day because I'm still documenting them, but I'm not gonna take them on my own accounts because I would prefer to stick to my scalps, and that's kind of what these profits have yielded over the I basically stopped taking the breakouts right here because there was no breakouts to take during this week. And then I started to go back to my scalps right here, and you can see my profitability just start to pick back up, right? Because like it was just a little slower. Like, even looking over here at December, December was such a slow month for us because all I took was breakouts, right? I took some losses here. Took $11,000 loss, $11,000 loss, $9,000 loss, 18,000 win, 19,000 win. These were the breakouts that I was taking for December. Like look at my profitability here versus my profitability here, right? I'm gonna stick to my scalps because this is what I'm good at. So yeah, it's just a different playing field. When you try to apply different strategies that don't necessarily, I wouldn't say they wouldn't work for you, but they're not something that you're looking to apply. Let's see, PC stake high investment. You could message me PC and we'll talk about it. I mean, yes, you can, but it's got to be actual money. Like it can't be a prop account. I don't trade prop accounts. I only trade live accounts for people. So yeah, send me a message PC and then we'll talk about it. I'm hoping you're talking about real cash and not not a prop account because I can't trade prop accounts. There's a limit on how many prop accounts you can have, and I'm already maxed out on all the prop accounts. So I added one more prop account. So there's one more that I have. I'm doing an eval right now for Take Profit Trader. I haven't taken any trades on it because I forgot to link it yesterday. But hopefully I'll be able to get through with that pretty quickly. But yeah, guys, I think that's it. It's 8:08 right now, and there's just not much here to look at. Shabam's asking, Sean, do you update your Google Sheet of all the trades? Actually, I haven't updated them at all. I'll probably start to run that back. I just got to go through like all the trades here. The problem with that spreadsheet is that before, when I was doing the spreadsheet, I was only really documenting like the breakouts, so it was easier, like one trade a day. But now that we've had like a lot of these other trades, it's like a lot more work. So, at some point, I'll just sit down and I'll update all the trades from January, and I'll update the trades from February, and then from there, you'll see them on there. But yeah, I just kind of fell off on it starting this year because there's just so many entries that came up, and it's just a lot of back end work. Yeah, no, definitely. Shimon. I think it's good too. It's good to have the data because we're able to see what strategies work well at what time of the year, what our TP stop losses are, notes for specific trades and stuff like that. Because it does help with journaling the trades every day. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. One question from CJ. He's asking Barack. I think Barack left already though. But for NQ, here, let's just pull up NQ real quick. I think the sweet spot you could probably do a 1-to-1 on NQ. I'm thinking it's like around like 30-30, and then maybe even like increase it in increments of 10. CJ, because that's what I was looking at too. Like the guy that I know that made like a 1.5 million payout from Apex, his numbers, he usually goes from 40 to 80 to 100. That's usually what he does. He goes 40, 80, 100. So I kind of use those numbers as possible thresholds as well, but they're like bigger pushes. So like if you look over here, let's just look at the entry for today. So there's an MPS V2 that is at the sessions. MPS V2 came up right here. So this is probably the one that Barack took. Let me see what a 40-40 looks like. See, the 40-40 I think is a little too tight. So you might want to go to like maybe 80-80 or even, yeah, or even 50-50. I mean, I think you just have to go in increments, CJ, and kind of see like how the volatility is moving. Because the volatility with NQ is like very different. It's a lot more volatile. I think sometimes 50-50 would work well. Maybe 60-60. If you back test it, I would probably just put different parameters. So like I would mark up from 40-40 up to 50-50 up to 60-60, maybe 80-80 in some instances. And then just see what comes up more, right? Like what's more consistent, which number. But I'm looking over here. I think that was the only entry that came up for a sell because he took a sell today. Yeah, there's no other MPS V2s. That was the only one. So it looks like the number there might be a 50-50 looks like it could work. But again, this is like a very volatile candle. Rev is asking where can I find the MPS V2 tutorial? I got a link for you. It's on the it was at the mentoring session, but here, Rev. There you go. What's the link for you right there in the chat? And then one last question from Shivam. Shivam said, are you planning to change timing of the sessions based on your back test? So, I did the back test and it's going to take a lot longer than I thought, Shivam. Like, I was looking at, there's a lot of entries that come up. So, here, let me see. I have a spreadsheet here. Let me see if I have. Like, I literally just did one day and look how many entries came up in one day. This January 2nd. So, this is going to take me longer than I thought because I thought it was going to be quick, but I mean, I don't know how many entries this is. Maybe like 20 entries right here. So you think about doing this every single day, it's going to take me a while to mark up all of the stats. So I don't know yet. But other people who have been doing their back tests for every day, they've mentioned that there's no pattern. So there's no specific time where the entries come up and they're good. So if you look over here, I'll just color these real quick. I'll color code them so you can see where the wins are and where the losses are. There's no specific time where the market's like specifically good. Like they're all kind of all over the place, these entries. So those are the wins. And these are the losses. So, I mean, the main thing that you want to do is probably, obviously you want to avoid the losses as much as possible. So it seems like there's no specific point where like a lot of the wins come up or a lot of the losses come up. They're kind of scattered. So if there's too scattered like this in a situation, it might be best to just stick to the morning session, like what we're already doing. Because like, for me, I usually aim for like one loss and I'm done for the day. But again, I would have to pull the data up because there's just a lot of data here. And I would have to pull up, like this is just a second. I gotta pull up where's my calendar at? So I gotta pull up basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. So about like maybe like 30 days of like data. And you can see this took me like almost an hour to do because I have to put all the information in there. I have to look for the red flags. So I'm gonna maybe pull up a couple more dates. And if there's no pattern here, like we can't find the wins only happen between like 8 and 10, or the wins only happen between 9 and 11. Then if that's not the case, then we'll just stick to the morning session. It just doesn't make sense to change. Because I think what we're doing now is pretty good, right? My stats so far are pretty nice for February. I think if we could stick to like maybe 1 or 2 good trades every morning, we're perfectly fine. We could have a losing day here and there, but for the most part, if we have more winning days than losing days, I think we'll be on a better footing than having to switch into a different session. So CJ said MPS just hit. Which one did you take, CJ? On YM? Don't tell me I missed it. Let's see. Which one did you take? Oh yeah, CJ did take this one right here. Nice. Nice work. Yeah, I didn't take it. I mean, it's okay. I already closed out my Ninja Trader, so it's all good. I wouldn't have been able to take the trade here, but CJ took the trade right here. There's an MPS that came up. Thanks, Maria, for sharing the screenshot. So it was right in between the range. Let me go over here and check the volume real quick. Yeah, so that was a pretty good entry because we had the confluence right here. So bounce off volume back into the POC. I don't really have anything here. Let me see if I go to trade a bit. Yeah, I wouldn't have had any confluences here, so it's all good. I'm glad to see you guys lock in profit right there off this MPS V2. A little tricky because price kind of bounced around a bit, but I think this was a pretty solid entry because it was right in between the range and you're able to get out at the end of the range here. So pretty nice move right there. Nice, nice. Yeah, CJ had a pending order. Perfect. All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Let's see, Sam said desperation took over and he took a trade. Took the V1 down here, nice. So looks like Sam also took the V1 down here, a little lower. And he locked in some pretty good pop right there. So, all right, guys, solid week. Again, these are my stats for the week so far. I locked in 51,565 for the week. So pretty good week. This pretty much overhauled us because we had no losses this week. And I'm currently at 80,985 for the month so far. These are not including the hedge accounts. So I'm probably up closer to 100 right now because these are just my prop accounts and my personal account. In order for me to import my hedge fund client accounts in here, I have to do them one by one. So you guys can understand how tedious that is to like log into like 20 accounts one by one just to get the data on here. So at the end of the month, I'll include the hedge fund clients, but as of now, I'm just going to include the prop accounts and my personal account. So probably up to 100K for this month. So it's pretty decent month so far overall. But all right, guys, great week. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up and then we'll see you guys back here on Monday for market open. So, all right, guys, another great week and I'll see you guys back here on Monday. Have a great weekend. And if you guys have any